So we must pray, remember to pray without ceasing. As First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 17 says, it says, pray without ceasing. And God began to share with my heart in regards to how many times in life when things get quiet, when things get better, when things start to improve and look on the up and up, and the things that we've been praying for, seeing, the things that we've been praying for come to pass, or things begin to change and turn around for good in our lives. Sometimes we begin to stop praying and just be, and sometimes we stop praying because that thing that we've been praying for, believing God for, God brought it to pass. But that doesn't mean that that we should stop praying in general. you know Clearly in First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 17, God is commending and actually pretty much you know encouraging us to not stop praying by saying praying without ceasing. So there's always going to be something to pray about. There's always going to be someone to pray for. Outside ourselves, we definitely got to pray for ourselves and pray for those around us and those in the world. So many things, going on. So, I want to encourage you, as I'm definitely encouraging myself, and my heart is encouraged by the Lord, that we must not stop praying. When that breakthrough comes, don't stop praying. When that blessing comes, don't stop praying. When things things are getting better in your life, don't stop praying. Continue to pray to God, and remember when you are praying that you are praying to your Father, your heavenly Father, who is God. You're not praying to anyone else. You're not praying to anyone else but God. You're praying so that way He can hear you and not for anyone else to hear you. That's one thing that God continues to remind me of, how He says in Matthew chapter, I believe it's chapter 6, when He says, don't pray to be seen. And it's not about, you know, it's not about that. It's about the Father who sees in secret. He says, when you pray, go into your room and close the door and pray to your Father who is in the secret place. So remember, when we must remember that when we choose to pray. Don't pray for the approval of your pastor. Don't pray for the approval of your mom or your dad or your sister, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, or just anyone. Sometimes when we get in a circle and pray, or we're praying, saying grace, or just doing anytime we gather together with a group of people and you're praying, whether it be two or more, there's sometimes you feel that pressure of, man, people are hearing me pray, and I have to make sure I say the right things, and you feel all this pressure and things like that. But to take that pressure off, just remember that even in the midst of praying amongst people or a group of people, that beyond, yes, they are listening, but I'm talking to God when I'm praying. So, and that's all that matters, as long as He hears me, and as long as I know that He hears me, and as long as I know that the fact of, hey, I'm not praying for the approval of for this person to say, man, that was a good prayer, or you prayed the house down. It's not about that. It's about praying to our Heavenly Father, who sees in secret us praying, when we're not praying for anyone else, and as far as praying to please man, or to please things or please people. But we're praying so that way so we can please God in it, and we're praying to our Father in heaven. That's why Jesus, when he prayed the model prayer, he said, our Father in heaven. He was praying to God, our Father. The prayer was directed to Him, and it wasn't about, he wasn't praying so that way the disciples can say, that's an awesome prayer. No, He prayed so because He knew that he was aiming to please His Father. And we are to do the same. So I encourage you, don't stop praying. Continue to pray, no matter how great things get, no matter how good things get in your life, in your marriage, in your relationship, even in your single life, in your family, in your employment, in your schooling, and in